Okay.
My question is, if I put you both on the same email,
Uh-huh.
is that gonna make things awkward?
Of course, it's gonna make things awkward for her.
Cause it doesn't bother me to send two separate emails. It's just a copy and paste for me.
Listen,
I just don't want.
She is going to listen. I am very flexible. Like I said, all you need to do is tell the counselor, pick a day, pencil me in, email me, tell me when she's available. I'm free. That is how I operate. I want it to be as easy for you as possible. Her, on the other hand, she's gonna say that there's no communication at all. What we're supposed to be doing, we're not supposed to be even breathing the same air. So, if to prevent her from doing it, send two emails. If not,
Okay.
just put us there, CC us both,
Okay.
and communicate.
So you don't care either way. Is that what I hear you?
I can care less, right? I just want
If
to know
you're
what's
on
going
the
on with my
same,
kid.
same email.
I don't care.
Okay.
Because even if we're on the same email and I have to respond to the email and talk to you, I'm not communicating with her, right? So that's not a violation of the order of protection. My violation is I cannot have direct contact with her. Can't talk to her. I can't be with her, right? This has nothing to do with her. You're just witnessing what's
It'll
happening.
make it cleaner on our side if we send two. Just copy and paste and
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
the exact same information in two
Yeah.
emails.
That's it, so that's fine with me. I don't have an issue with that. Also,
Just assume everything you see from us has gone to her also.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine.
Mhm.
And if I have any questions, I will reach out. She has removed me from the school's,
Synergy.
what is that?
This is school information system. Can
I
I go
don't-
get my computer?
Yeah, get your computer. I didn't know if you were removed because I think we have your contact information in
You
there.
have, but I have to be suspended because my daughter has told me multiple times that Ridwan wasn't at school, and I would have to call the school and be like, "Hey, did my son show up?" And they would say no, and
The
then
call does go out to only one number, so we must have her as the first contact.
okay,
So it's an automatically generated phone call. I can ask Tracy. If either one of the kids are absent, it'll either be Tracy or Julie. We'll give the other parent a phone call.
yeah, because I get Layla's all the time, and
Okay.
Layla wasn't at school yesterday, and I got a phone call.
You get Layla's phone call?
I get Layla's phone call. Okay. I don't
And
know.
you still have educational rights
Yeah,
to
there's
Ridwan.
nothing that has been I have medical, educational, everything.
Okay.
So she
Is it that right now the paperwork says you can't make contact? I have to
yes,
get
I
the
can't
paperwork.
make contact.
But you still have educational rights.
Yeah.
You still have medical. Okay.
I can say
Physical and verbal contact, like not on the phone.
yeah, I can't talk to him on the phone. I can't
Okay.
yeah. But as far as making decisions still under for him, hey, don't do this for his classroom. Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I don't know if Layla was here today, but yesterday I got a phone call from the school. Layla wasn't here, no problem. But I know that Ridwans have stopped, for sure.
Both of the kiddos were here today. They
Okay.
did get signed out early.
Okay, that makes sense.
They did leave early today. So we haven't contacted you because we weren't quite sure what to do with this one. We were kind of on the fence with our mom. Can we put mom and dad together in a room?
No.
I've recently learned that no. That can't happen now. We do have a meeting. The school did not schedule this meeting. It was a requested meeting to re-examine Layla's IEP
Okay.
and possibly put some more accommodations into the IEP, which is something that happens a lot.
That's fine.
I don't know if we do have a meeting with mom.
Mm-hmm.
We are obligated to have another meeting with you if you want to
Yes,
be a part. If you want to have another meeting. Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll coordinate something that we can invite you to.
And just so you are aware, okay, so she is hitting me from all types of angles. So the restraining order is independent, but she also is trying to have my parental rights removed in order for her to be like not sole custody, but sole decision making.
Right.
Okay. And so I think a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer, but she filed, okay. They granted it, but then they dropped it. Okay, so they granted it for temporary decision making.
Okay.
Okay. So what that means is that as if we can't agree on something, she gets the final say so. Okay. However, she's abusing it because she doesn't communicate. She's just making decisions like she wants to, which is sole decision making, where you don't
Like
have
the
to.
IEP or
Like the IEP, for instance, right? So they dropped it. So she now recently she has a motion to have it reviewed, to have it brought back, okay? But as it stands right now, if she can't make the decision without me co-signing for it, okay? So if she gives you some documentation that shows that she has temporary decision making, it's going to be for that time frame, okay? And that's what she's doing. She's not showing you this. And if she shows you something for this, that's just a motion. They have not granted her anything. This just happened a week ago, once she found out that DCS is dropping the case, which they did, okay? That's what we were waiting on.
So do you expect the order of protection to be lifted very soon?
Yeah, I'm fighting the hell out of that. I've been fighting that since it started. But we need, so what she does is an incident will happen and she'll call the police and DCS first. And she'll get an open case. Thank you for calling us. Here's an open case number. We will start an investigation. Great. She takes the investigation number and then she goes to the courts and she says, hey, I need a restraining order because of there is an open investigation. Okay. So they grant her that. Okay. 2 weeks later, like with Layla, 2 weeks later, literally 2 effing weeks later, the police is like, yeah, there's nothing to see here. Like, there was no abuse. We can't charge him with anything. Close this case. DCS says, yeah, we investigated him. We came out. We talked to him. We talked to the kids. There's nothing to see here. We're going to close the case. Okay. But the restraining order still stands. Until it either is served, okay, or until she goes and she removes it, the person who placed it, okay? That's it. There is no, and you can't fight it again. There's no fighting it a third time. You get one chance, okay? If you fail, it stands until one of those two things are served out. She could have went at any time and said, hey, look, I want to remove it, no problem, okay? But she decided not to.
So how do you get it reversed with a child, not your person, but your child?
What do you mean?
Is there a restraining order of protection with Redwan?
Yes. Now it's Redwan and Tasha. Okay.
On the same one?
On the same. Well, I don't know if it's the same one, but I have two. I can't see her or him.
Okay.
Okay. But with Layla, she tried to get all three of them, and the judge said no. Then she tried to get Layla and Redwan, and the judge said no. Then she tried to get Layla and herself, and the judge said no. So then she just put Layla on there. For whatever reason, the judge agreed for her and Redwan now, which ever since she took Layla, I've had zero contact unless we were emailing. Like, we don't,
Right.
I'm not physically
Correct.
talking to you.
So my point is, I guess if the case is all closed, then how do you get the order of protection removed from Redwan?
Oh, okay. So remember when I told you about Layla and I went there. So day one, I get served, okay? And so the way it works is that if you're served on day one, back then the order of protection was only for a year. Now it's 2 years, but we'll get to that. So they say, okay, the police serve you, you're served. You are on the restraining order for the time frame. So let's say it's a year, but you can fight it. At that time, you had 30 days to appeal, okay? Now they modified it. So you have 30 days to say, I don't like this, I want to fight it, okay? So that's what I did. The moment that they gave it to me, I was like, I'm going to fight this, okay? And that's what I did. They gave me a court date, an emergency court date for like 2 weeks out, okay? So
That's still 2 weeks up from now?
No, that was with Layla.
Okay.
So 2 weeks out from when they first served me, okay, we went to court, I presented my evidence, the judge was like, but you spanked her, and you left a belt. Have a nice day. Okay, perfect. So now his ruling is done, okay? And at the time of the court, the investigation was still open, okay? 2 weeks after that, the investigation's closed, both DCS and the police. Okay, but because a ruling had already been given on the order of protection, it's live and by itself. So regardless if DCS or the police said this or that, it didn't matter what they said. Now I have to serve this out. Okay, so I learned wasn't the best option. Okay, so now with her and Ridwan, I didn't fight it. Right, I said, okay, you only get one chance to fight it. I'm gonna save it. Okay, so I found out why you got it, because you have a police order and you have DCS. Perfect. I'm gonna fight them first. Okay, police, I need you to close the case. Yep, we reviewed you. We're closing the case. Boom. I got your stuff. Hey, I need you to close the case. Boom. Close the case. Now, when I go to court, I can say, you judge, place this restraining order on me because there was an open case investigation. Okay, that's the reason why you did it. They have found that there's nothing to see here. Why are you going to keep it? Right? So they would have to just close it. You know, they would just be like, yeah, you're right. Like, have a nice day. Okay. So now that the police have closed theirs and DCS is now winding down and closing theirs, I'm getting the information and I'm going to apply and stuff like that. So
that's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now.
Okay.
Right. That's DCS finally reached out to me Friday. Okay. And I've been calling them twice a week, 3 times a week since September. Okay. It's just not fun. So
the answer to the question on Layla's, on her face sheet under parent, you're both listed.
Okay.
We have 3 or 4 columns. One is lives with.
Okay.
You're not checked with that.
Okay.
But contact allowed, yes.
Okay.
Ed records, yes. Legal decision making, yes. Those are all.
On Layla's.
Yes.
Okay.
All on Layla's.
Question for lives with? Is there only one box? Can she live with both parents? Or
I'm gonna ask what.
So, and then I just opened Ridwan's. Oh, and on Layla's, we also have what's called a custody flag.
Okay.
To help protect children.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I'm here to check out,"
Gotcha.
little Johnny, then, and we go to look at, and so we get a flag, so
Gotcha.
that we know that we need to look further.
Understood.
And take more precautions. There's no flag on Layla's, but there is on Ridwan's.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And then you're listed there also. You're actually listed as the number 1 contact on Ridwan's, which I don't know why.
You're just in the first there.
Okay, so lives with, no. Contact allowed, not marked. Ed records, yes.
Yes.
Legal decision making is not marked.
Okay, so that needs to be changed. Legal decision making, definitely.
I've gotten to a point right now, because there's so much paperwork. We've been sending this to our legal department just to cover my back.
Listen, I totally understand.
And they're aware of this now, so and our legal department already has all of the paperwork, so I'm just gonna ask her, but what she doesn't do is she doesn't look at Synergy, this screen that we're looking at.
Right.
I'm just gonna ask, just to verify that we can make sure we can mark you there.
Yeah.
To get the legal decision making restored, and then the other question is, lives with would be a no for Ridwan right now anyway.
Well, yeah, that would be a no for Ridwan, so I totally understand that. But you said that there was another box that wasn't checked.
Legal decision making, and that's the one she's writing down.
Okay, legal decision making and lives with.
No, contact allowed.
Okay, yeah, no.
Contact allowed.
So that makes sense. So yeah, Ridwan's looks fine, but
Ed records, so like
ad records?
educational records.
Oh, okay.
Is marked. Yes, we can do that. So like the parent teacher conference.
Yes.
We can't legally withhold any of that.
Correct.
If I have to problem solve with them, something at recess time, I can communicate that to you.
Correct. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So we're good on that.
Good. It's just weird that I'm not getting his phone calls to let me know that he's absent and stuff. Can you send a report?
Can we take care of that?
That's probably
that's
the
records.
Contact allowed.
Yeah, that's what I want to find out.
Contact allowed is
different. That's contact with them, but it might be something screwy in the system that's marked to trigger the phone calls.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
If the system won't do it,
then you
Then
just
can you
manually.
just-
Then we can
That's
give
fine.
that a call.
Tracy just makes the manual phone call anytime either
Mhm.
child is absent.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because absences are technically part of ed records.
That's right.
But the way the system is set up might be
Yeah,
underneath, behind
the behind the scenes. Yeah,
it might be that the contact allowed. Well, if
Yeah.
there's not contact allowed, why would you be notifying of an absence
Yeah,
or something?
that totally
weird
makes
like
sense.
that?
And based on Layla and Ridwan's setup in the system and my previous experience, that's probably what it is. That's probably what it would. Can I get a record of just both kids' absences this whole year?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to send it now. You can just email it to me later.
Do you know how to do that
I do
quickly?
not know how to do that quickly.
Oh,
I can get it for you and
Yeah.
I can email
Yeah.
it to you
There's
if
certain
that's
things
okay.
that we pay other people to do.
I totally get it. I totally
I know
get it.
it's under this little tree here, but let's see, that would
I
take me a
totally
while.
get it.
So absences,
Exhausted my extent of the student information system. Oh, I know how to write a discipline report.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's good. That's good to know. That's a good trait to have there.
yeah, we'll get you their absence reports,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you the days they're tardy, the days they've been absent, and even like if it's excused, unexcused.
Yeah, that's
And then
fine.
can I confirm your information?
Yeah, 41. Yeah,
314-456-8777.
that's me.
And your email address,
Jackson.
32005 @gmail.com.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
What else do you need from us?
I honestly, this went longer than what I expected, and I talked more about me and her than what I really wanted.
But I think because we're both new, it was important for us to understand the story.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna tell you honestly, I feel really good having spent this amount of time with you.
Me too.
I feel like this was needed. This was not a waste of anybody's time.
Thank you. It's just that, like I said, I've been with this woman, we were married for a decade. We dated 5 years prior to that. We've been knowing each other for 2 decades. And now, this problem has caused, it just, I don't know how much personal stuff you know about her, but when we were married, like one of the beautiful things that we had when we were married was that we both came from semi-similar backgrounds when it came to family. I mean, I had a large family, she had a small family, but we understood the pain that having an absentee father caused, and I was blessed with a dad. Even though my father wasn't present, I was blessed with a dad who took care of me, and I found out that he wasn't my father. Not because they hid it, it was just because he was just so damn good at his job, and when I seeked out my father, it was fruitless. And when I'm in contact with his family, but he passed away before I was able to confront him. And in her situation, she has a sadder story where he probably was never informed about her, and she never had a dad to assist her with that, and this was a topic of discussion on how to overcome this when we were married. And I remember breaking the rules at one of my companies that I worked for. I worked for a company, and I had a lot of access. And I found her dad. I found her actual father, and we tried to contact him. And we were able to contact him. We were able to get a response, and he was just like, I'm not interested. And I watched her go from me presenting her with this information. I mean, I found him, which she didn't ask me to. This was just me hearing over and over again through the years that she wishes that this would happen. And I gave her this information. I asked her what to do, and we decided to reach out. And it took a long time to decide that. And then waiting for a response and anticipation. And then to be told that, you know, it hurt her and it hurt me. And I remember holding her and I remember talking to her and I remember just feeling like I just messed up. I should have just left this door closed. And then her telling me that, you know what, when we have kids, like, you know, we're not going to do this. And me saying, you know, you're right. Like, this is not going to be our life. Like, we're just going to make the cycle end here. And that memory playing in my head while I'm going to court, explaining to them why it's a good idea for me to be in my children's life is just very difficult, you know. And I'm clashing with myself because I know you remember that too. You know, I know you remember all of those nights. And I know you hear the voice of our daughter and our son telling you these things, but yet you're fighting me because I won't allow something to happen, you know. And it's hard, you know, it's really hard. Because I remember those things, and those things matter because it's confusing, you know. Yeah, but anyways, so my kids at the school, if you, I don't know how frequently they go to counseling or their counsel, but I would like to talk to the counselor and set appointment because I want to know how my son is actually performing and doing.
She'll schedule some time with you.
And she doesn't do like formal therapy like you get outside. It's like meeting with kids in small groups. Somebody gets upset, then they have access to the counselor and stuff like that. So it's not like the same way, like.
And that's fine.
And it's
Because
and it's
she's one
check-ins.
person,
Yeah.
like, for 400 kids.
Yeah, but you know, my kids are.
But they do have access to her.
Yeah, no, my daughter has told me that she's just said I need to go talk to her, and then you know she is gone. You know, but I'm so involved in my kids' life. If someone outside told me something about my kids, I would understand where my kids' understanding and placement is.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I just want to get confirmation and confirm with her, you know, really like my son's placement, just probably just really for my own understanding, and maybe information that will help her understand my son's, you know, what's going on in his little head.
How does Layla feel about her 5th grade teacher?
Miss Benson? She loves Miss Benson, you know?
Yeah.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Probably the nurse's office.
Oh, I get to nurse.
You
Layla
get
talks
the
to me
nurses.
about that.
Yeah.
She talks to me about how nice the nurse's office is.
Go around that way. The maze there.
It's probably locked.
Oh, let me get my key because she's already locked up.
This is my little office right here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get you my.
Early today. If we find out like the kids' preferred activities and bring them in to just let the kids lead the discussion and start by doing a puzzle or coloring and then just let the kids talk about, just like almost take the play therapy approach.
If there's ever discipline stuff that needs to be investigated, we probably need to, because the teachers aren't gonna have the time to do that. Probably
Right.
gonna need to just.
You and I will have to
do that. This poor man. It's all I can do. I think he's sincere. I do too. But that disease, like trying to project onto your kids so that you can get all this energy, he's given a lot of evidence that the kids have. again, we don't make any judgments.
Yeah.
Or stuff.
So,
Find your way back?
I did. I did.
We
So,
want to make sure that you have our information.
thank you.
So our emails are each on there. And again, I'm not here every day, but if you leave a message, an email is generated to me. So regardless of where I'm at,
Okay.
I get it.
Okay, perfect. But the answer to your question is Miss Layla loves Miss Benson. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. So that means that Tasha is telling you that Layla doesn't like Miss Benson.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I know you didn't. But at the same time, I'm also Layla's father, you know. And so, no. Layla was very concerned when Miss Benson would stop coming to school because she had issues. Before Layla found out what those issues were, Layla was asking me all the time because she enjoyed Miss Benson. Now, then once she found out that, you know, she was having a baby or whatever
Yeah.
the case was, you know, Layla's like, oh, this is so great. Miss Benson's going to have a baby and like Miss Benson's going to have this and that while she's going through her what are they called? Substitutes.
Yeah.
You know, now that she's back, nothing but praise. Okay. And she started her girly time, her period. That's what we
Yeah.
call it, her girly time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. She started her period. You know, as I was talking to her about it and helping her with her period and stuff, this is also how close me and my daughter are. Like, we talk about periods, we talk about everything, you know.
I didn't talk about that with my dad.
Yeah, you know, it
My
is
dad
kind of
was
weird.
like,
Oh my, it's very, it's different, you know, but I have sisters. I have a sister.
Yeah.
And I have my mom still around. Even though everybody is back in St. Louis, I call them and I'm like, hey, look, my daughter is, you know, I'm like, what do I do?
you're in a different place though. When you have Layla, it's you. And
Yeah.
she has to talk to her grown up.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
you know, showing her how to put a pad on her undies and, you know, going to
Bless your heart.
going to
Sorry.
the store and teaching her when we're purchasing these, you know, like these are the ones that you want to look for. These are the difference. Like, oh my gosh, I go there and there's this huge wall of different pads and I'm just like, so I did practice before, okay? Like, I noticed some things about her that was getting weird and I was like, the time is coming. So I did go to the store and I was like, okay, where's the pad section? Well, actually, where's the tampon section? So I went to the tampon section and I was just like, what do I do with this? Oh, hell no. You know? No. And then like some woman saw me and she was like, oh, you know, you're buying it for your wife or whatever. And I was just like, no, I'm buying it for my daughter. And she said, bless your heart. And I was just like, you know what? Can I ask you a couple questions? And then she was like, sure. And then so I talked to her. Then I went back and I was like, okay, tampons out, pads is what I need to be getting. Great, you know. So I learned, you know, the ones with wings. These are the ones with this, right? These are important to know, you know.
Things you thought you'd never have to know.
Right. So I had an emergency kit. That's what we call it. It has pads, extra change of clothes, a hat, hoodie, and $20. And it's in a bag and it's in the car just in case it would happen while we were away. The $20 is literally just for ice cream, right? Pizza and ice cream, and here's some money, right? What do you want to do? Okay. Right. I noticed that now Advil helps. I noticed also coffee is not a good thing. I didn't know that. I'm learning on the spot, right? I'm, you know, right? 40-year-old person. I just now realizing that.
It's okay.
Heating pads,
Yes.
right? You know, weighted heating pads are pretty good. So she has 2 that I got her, and then you know, massages and just being left the hell alone, you know. Yeah, and you know, just basically being a punching bag for, you know, a week or so, which is not bad. But so yeah, so I'm learning on the fly. So anyways, that's how we communicate about all that, you know. As a matter of fact, she tried to do something and it was, oh my gosh, it was really bad a month ago. And I was like, baby, we have to take care of this when we are having this. So now we have periods, you know. But I'm trying to get her to take more control about cleaning it up and stuff, because if it's really, really bad, she does get embarrassed, which is fine. But it's more sad. It's not really embarrassed because she'll wake me up and say, "Dad, I had an accident. Like I need your help," and then we'll get up and we'll
She'll
clean.
learn. She'll navigate that. Sometimes we just have to figure that out ourselves.
Yeah, my gosh, I hope
Yeah.
it's soon.
Yeah.
With Juan, he's same thing. When he used to pee on himself, he would get in trouble for hiding it, but he would just wake me up at 2 a.m. and say, "Dad, I had an accident," and he knew if he did that, he was not going to get in trouble. I was going to wake up, I was going to take care of it, put him in, and he was going to go to sleep in my bed. So that was, that's our relationship. But if you're asking the question, I already figured out that, that was brought to your attention. Otherwise, there's no reason for that question. Layla doesn't have a problem with Miss Benson at all.
Okay.
I don't know what was said or why that question would be brought, but there's no problem.
Okay.
Layla appreciates her help and her assistance. Like I said, with her girly time, she tells me that Miss Benson is super nice when it comes to that. All she has to do is tell her when she comes in, it's that time. And they have like a special system for that she does. When she is depressed and super sad, they have that quiet room, that quiet area, and she lets her know, like, can I utilize it? And Miss Benson has never said no, unless it was like doing a test or something like that. But she doesn't have an issue with her.
Okay.
Are either of the kids uncomfortable about the office and the office, any of that?
No.
Okay.
The kids, still feel that
Layla's
Mr. Hay.
pretty reserved with me.
Yes.
As again, because I'm not with her as much as some of the other adults.
Right.
And so she's pretty reserved with me.
So one of the ways to break through with Layla is just be straightforward, right? Layla does not like BS because that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a way to get around something so that she can get whatever it is that she wants, okay? But if you're straightforward and direct, so will she be. In addition to that, that's how I am, and that's how she operates in her normal state, because she wants it to be done as quickly as possible, as less effort on her behalf, okay? And then just indicate with her, like, what do you think your dad would say, right? And that will trigger her into thinking in a completely different way, right? And then that will open up a conversation with you, and you'll be able to take care of that. Trust me. Like, that's just how that works with her. But yes, you're right. Because she doesn't see you on a regular basis, she's uncertain. Okay. But you have somebody that she does see on a regular basis. If that person co-signs for you, it will just turn around. Okay.
So I need that with Miss Benson.
Yeah. If that lady.
What I need.
Yeah. If that lady co-signs with you, boom. Like it's. We have embedded in the kids. I put kind of a code, right? Mr. and Mrs. or their name, right? So when I would introduce the kids to somebody, I would say, "This is we're Muslim. We're Muslim, so people of faith, they're brother and sister, right?" However, that title is very important to me. So when I introduce my kids to you, if I introduce them as, "Hey, this is which is uncle, so-and-so," the kids automatically know if my dad leaves the room, I can stay here, okay? But if I introduce them as Mr. or Mrs., if I leave the room, the kids are coming with me, okay? So...
I like that. I like that system.
Right. So, it's very easy, like it's just, this is my actual blood brother. This is your uncle, Uncle Jeremy. She knows if my dad leaves, I can go, but she also knows that if he does something to you, right, then you need to follow his instructions and orders, right? No question. You do whatever he tells you first, then you ask me if it was a good or bad idea. Okay. Mr. and Mrs., a little bit of different leeway. Okay. You can ask questions and stuff like that. But if I leave, it's time for us to go, right? And so, they understand that structure, even if they just get it now. So as far as teachers are concerned, they are aware that teachers, even though they're Mr. and Mrs., right, they are specialized in that arena, right? If you're in their classroom, you treat them no different than you treat myself. Right. And so if she develops a relationship and she knows that I have a relationship with that individual, there's not going to be any problems. And if that person co-signs for you, then it's as if you were there the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we need any questions around food? I know there were some.
No,
questions.
there's no. Listen, I don't even want to talk about that. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
We don't have to.
Okay. I've had that conversation in another meeting, but so
Oh
if
my
you don't
gosh.
have that conversation, then
Well, and
perfect.
and from my point of view, I wasn't in the other conversation.
Yes.
So
I'll tell you how that conversation
I
went.
interface with Layla a lot in the cafeteria, and there's many days she chooses not to eat.
Yes.
She is not the only one her age that makes that choice.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know how my child does not function well when he makes that choice.
Yes.
So I like adults to
Yes.
encourage that.
I do.
But
I didn't know
that's
that.
That's one of the things that I feel like she's like setting a boundary, like, lady, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm choosing not to eat, that's my choice.
Oh
Which
yeah.
it is.
Well,
But
yes.
I always try to encourage the kids to eat.
Yes.
Not force.
Yes.
Encourage them.
Well, I didn't know
Let's-
that she was
Let's
doing
fuel our
that.
bodies. But her common answer is, I don't eat. Or I don't eat the cafeteria food.
Okay, so listen. How do I put this? I'm always trying not to say negative things, but again, so
That you disagree is fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
no, it's not that I disagree. You're being lied to. Layla will not. No, let's start with. There's nothing wrong with my kids eating the cafeteria food. Okay, like let's start there. There's nothing wrong with it. Mom goes around and she tells people that the kids are allergic to X, Y, and Z. Okay, let's start with dairy. Okay, the kids are allergic to dairy. The kids are not allergic to dairy. The kids have an acute reaction to dairy. What that means is that if they eat too damn much of it, they'll start getting gassy. Okay. But that doesn't mean they're allergic to. I'm allergic to blueberries. If I eat them, I need an EpiPen. I will die. Right? There's a big difference between getting gassy and a tummy ache and needing medical treatment. Right? So mom has made the decision that she wants to be gluten free and she wants to be, HMO free, whatever. Right? Then that's fine. Okay. But to decree that this is a medical necessity is what I disagree with, because that's false. Okay.
Okay.
That's,
But we
that's
respect
false.
We'll respect her.
That's fine.
Okay.
So, but if Layla chooses to just, I don't want to eat the cafeteria food, that's fine. Okay, you don't force her. However, I wonder what's happened to her food, because every day I write them a little note, and when I look at their food, it's gone.
Maybe.
She might be. I know that she'll get a snack from the nurse, because mom has provided snacks in the nurse's office.
And the food that you're sending, maybe Miss Benson's giving her access to that outside the cafeteria, because I don't go in there. and see
Okay.
that. There's lots of reasons. I don't have any reason to believe that she's throwing it away or anything.
Yeah, no, I doubt that she would throw it away, but she probably
I
is
just-
trading it for something,
I've never seen anything like that either.
Hmm.
That would lead me to believe that that was an issue.
Well, that's fine. I'll just ask her. She'll just tell me. That's
Yeah.
our relationship. Yeah. Anything else?
No, we just want to take good care of your kids.
Yeah.
You guys are taking good care of my kids, right? You guys are. I don't have a problem with you guys. That's why you don't see me unless there's a field trip or a parent conference or
Yeah.
you need me, because you guys are doing your job. And I don't have a problem with what you're doing. My kids come home, they're happy about school. Before we get home, they know that while we're in the car, they're telling me about their day. What happened, what did you learn? How do you feel about that? So I don't have an issue with any of that stuff.
Oh, Miss Clatt is the other person that we need to let know to make double
Yeah.
phone calls every time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that on.
So we will
That's
reach out,
her.
communicate to Miss Benson, Miss Clatt, who's the special ed teacher.
Oh yes, I met her the other day.
I don't think that who else would it come from? Dr. G, who's the counselor. Any communication we send to one parent, we'll send to the other.
Please.
Tracy.
Please.
Yeah.
It may be that you get communication that you didn't ask for,
That's fine.
but
right?
but if we're sending home, if we make I mean, if we're sending home a homework packet for one parent, we'll send it to both parents.
Yes, yes. And that's fine. I don't mind communication that I didn't ask for, because I can sift through things
Yeah.
that I don't need. It's just that I need things that I do need.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the homework packet because currently Redwan's not going to both homes, so
Right.
that would just go home once.
Yes, and to
Yeah.
be honest with, well, yeah, I was gonna say homework. You know what? Yes, because Layla is being tricky now. So yes, both parents. But the homework packet is more not for Tasha. It's more for me. Well, more for Layla, because she knows, and if she gets it on Wednesday, she'll just won't bring it, because we do. I was gonna show you this. These are, because I thought our sped teacher was here. These are what we do at home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know, so we do these, and I have one from 2nd grade to 5th grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also okay to just let her go home and just hang out and be a kid.
This is true, but Layla was behind, you know, and so now that I had her parent-teacher conference, and I'm pleased with that, you know, then we'll be reducing our work, you know, so that she is happy. Yeah, after her punishment, though, she needs to serve out her sentence, and she's, yeah, and then yeah, you know, this is probably the best representation of what kind of father I am.
Okay.
So what you're looking at is something that I created called LBC. They're in order from my creation. LBC stands for Lunchbox Comics.
Okay.
During COVID, as you recall, the kids had to wear masks. And when they were at school, my son, this is during the time where Layla was taken, and my son came home and he said that lunch sucks. And I said, why does lunch suck? And I'm like, dude, when I was growing up, lunch was the part of the school that I looked forward to. And I'm like, you're not having fun? You're not going outside playing recess? And he says, no, because of COVID, we can't go outside. I said, oh, so what do you do? He says, we're in the cafeteria the whole time until we have to go back to class. So I said, well, you can't just hang out with your friends and talk in the cafeteria? He says, no, we have to wear masks unless we're eating, and then we have to put the mask back on, and we can't talk because we don't want to spread COVID. So he said that this is very boring. So I said, okay. So I said, and he was sad about it. So I said, fine. So I decided to create this. And so I would make him comic strips, him, I, and his sister going on adventures, every day. So he got one every single day that he was coming to class. This stuff took hours to do.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at
Okay. Now, if you look at the first one versus this one, right, they get more and more creative.
Quite sophisticated.
This is
I like
all
the author name, Daddy Jackson.
Daddy. Yeah, that's who I am, Daddy
These
Jackson.
are those things, kind of things they'll keep forever.
It's so cool.
So that's like volume 1. And then when he went back to school and he started having fun, I stopped making them, and he got upset, and he was just like, I want you to make them because my friends and my classmates would come over and they want to see them. The lunch lady would come over and read them. And so, everybody is looking forward to them. But yeah, this is what I would do while my daughter wasn't with me to make sure that my son had a lunch that he enjoyed.
Yeah.
This is the type of father that I am.
I don't want you to think that we don't see that.
Listen, I know, but I also don't get a chance to show this to people. And I really like this. Okay? I sometimes go through it.
There's only a limited audience.
Yeah, and so like, I like it. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, my kids, like I enjoy my kids.
Yeah.
And I just want your job to be easy while you take care of my kids,
Your kids make it pretty easy.
Oh my gosh,
Your
thank
kids
you.
make it pretty easy.
They make it easy for you guys.
They're pretty easy when they're here at school, so
Well,
you've done good things for them.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else?
I can't think of anything else right now, but I do appreciate getting to know you and being able to have open communication with you. I think that's important.
It is important.
I think it's important that the kids see that we are talking to you as well, so.
That should also make your job easier, because
Yeah.
once the kids find out that I am in communication with somebody that they're in communication with, they act a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah. They'll see that both mom and dad are equally involved.
Yeah, well, they need to see that mom and dad are equally involved with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is when they thrive the best,
Mhm.
because
Absolutely.
you know they can't play both of us. You know they can't. That's what I want to try to eliminate. You know, yeah. But if you have any questions, I'm open.
Okay.
You know, I'm open. And I apologize for taking so much of your time.
Please
I
don't
really-
apologize. I think
know.
this was time really well spent. I'm grateful for this time.
Thank you.
This was very brave and very hard on your part, and please know that we appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for just being there and listening. You
No
know, I
problem.
That's what we
appreciate
do.
it. Yeah,
That's what, now you know where we are. You know who we are. Come see us.
I will. Look,
All right.
the bleach bag, like Layla's.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's a cool kid.
that she
Layla's
is.
a cool